Hello, Wayfarers! Welcome back to another episode of Vampire the Masquerade Twilight. Our fortnightly campaign where we play a bunch of really awful characters who are who delight in tormenting and murdering people. Um, I will hand us over to our wonderful Games Master Fee for a recap of what was a very intense session last
Yeah,
time.
so last session, you guys finally confronted David, who was dead, but then was not dead, and who had a bone to pick with Lou,
Hmm.
basically, for essentially murdering him. Um,
I would complain about David not staying dead, but I feel like it would be super hypocritical.
yes, considering you didn't also stay dead.
Yeah.
Um, and yes, you actually managed to tie it up quite nicely, all things considered.
Yeah.
Um, it was there were a few close calls, I will admit. Some very good rolls from both me and you guys. Um, but in the end, you managed to have a conversation with him before he was like, I've had enough of this and left. And he hinted that someone brought him back for a purpose. And then that night, when yous were, well, morning, when yous were sleeping, Tabitha was having a dream about whatever Tabitha usually dreams about, and then got a vision. Um, and they said that it was time for you to meet. And I can't remember if you woke up to the note of that or if they'd given you an address,
No, I woke up and there was a note on the table.
an unfamiliar handwriting.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it was.
Yes.
I didn't say what it had on it yet, did I?
No, it was just a note, an
No.
unfamiliar handwriting on the table, and that's where we ended.
Yeah, that's fine. I couldn't remember whether I actually said what was on it. No, that's fine. Um, so yeah, so Tabitha, what do you do?
Um, she doesn't go anywhere near the note. She's on the table. She's going to check every crack in the wall, every window, every door, the locks themselves. She's going to spend probably about 20 minutes. And I'm sure at some point while she's doing this, Lou will come out while she is like crawling on the ground and like checking like the floorboards and carpet and the windows.
Lou will walk out, just kind of stretching, going, "Oh, I slept so well." Tabby, darling, what are you doing?
Someone got in. Somebody got in. I don't know how they got in, but somebody got in, and it's not okay. There's a thing on the table, and it's somebody. We're not safe here. Maybe we should move. We should move. We shouldn't be here anymore because we're not safe here anymore. They know how to get in here.
We'll address that, and if we need to move, we will. On the table. Okay. Yep. Lou's gonna go over and have a look and see what the hell
She's continuing
she's on
to
about.
check.
Okay, so you don't recognize the handwriting.
Yeah. It's just gonna leave Tabby doing her thing. It's like it's like sleepwalking. It's more dangerous if you wake them.
So yeah, so the note says, it's basically just gives an address. Actually, no, it's not even an address. It's like GPS coordinates. But obviously, you've been around Tabitha for long enough that you know it's not her handwriting. You know it's not anyone's. It's nobody's that you recognize.
I'm gonna take out my phone and just kind of look up the coordinates and see where it is.
Okay. So it is for you kind of in the middle of nowhere. It's not a place you're overly familiar with. It's kind of like on the outskirts of the town, so it'll probably take about an hour to get there via car or taxi or whatever. If you obviously decide to walk it, depending on whether you go vampire speed or not, it'll probably take between like an hour
True,
and 2 hours.
I do have celerity.
Yeah.
I'm gonna screenshot the location, and I'm gonna send a text to Esme.
Okay.
And because was this note left just like on our table, or was it left specifically
Yeah.
for Tabby?
It was left basically right next to Tabby's bed.
Right
No,
next
does
to
she
the...
sleep in a bed?
Yeah, so it was left next to her bed. So I'm going to message this to Esme, and I'm going to put the message, go, does this location mean anything to you?
Okay. So you see that the message has been sent, but there's no reply yet.
That's fine. So, Tabby, darling, why don't you sit down for a moment? We're going to have a look and we're going to sort this out, okay?
You touched it. Why did you touch it?
I didn't touch it. I just looked it up and looked up the...
Did you touch the paper?
I didn't touch the paper.
We don't know who brought that. We don't know what's on it.
Tabby, darling, please. I didn't touch the paper. Okay? All I did was look up where the location of that coordinate is. That's it. They just left a location.
Yeah,
I looked it up. That was it.
Yeah, they want to meet.
Yeah.
She like sits on the floor like against the wall. He said he wants to meet. The person in my brain, they wanted to meet. I think it's the same one. I can't see his face, or their face, her face, I don't know. And they want to meet, and I know it's gonna be a trap, and someone's gonna get hurt, and we should leave. Maybe we should just move away. Far away.
I mean...
I haven't been to America in a really long time.
Problem is, Tabby, darling, we're a bit deep into it now. And someone is actively out to get one of us. So if we leave, they're just gonna follow.
Okay. Unless this is them. This is someone new?
Maybe
Have they been following me a long time?
I don't know, darling, but we are gonna get to the bottom of this, and we're gonna work it out. And I am not gonna let anything bad happen to you.
How did they get in the house?
I don't know. We'll work that out as well. And if needs be, tomorrow maybe we can go and stay at Mina's. You know Mina, my friend, my artist friend. Maybe we could just stay with her tomorrow if it's a bit too much.
Okay.
I'm sure she'll be fine.
Okay.
I'm going to message Reinhardt and Cal and just kind of say, someone left a creepy note on Tabitha's bed. Next to Tabitha's bed. Come over as soon as you can.
Okay, so you get a reply from Cal saying dealing with something will be with you as soon as possible, in Cal speak. And Reinhardt, do you reply?
I'll look at the message and then probably reply with, can we not have 24 hours without something happening? I'll be over in a bit.
Where's the fun in that?
Because I want to have a look at that. Do I still have that book, what I got?
Yes.
Cool. I want to have a quick read through it. I'm looking for something in particular.
I'll I'll reply to Reinhardt just going, sorry if this creepy message was untimely, but
I'll just reply with okay. And then
Okay.
I'm gonna go and look into my book. I want to look for something.
Okay, what are you looking for?
So the book contains knowledge about murderizing a spectre.
Mm-hmm.
Does it contain knowledge about the creation of one?
I don't know. You're gonna have if you roll an occult and an academic. There's one. And it wasn't murderizing one; it was banishing one. You don't have to.
It did have destroy as well.
Yeah, but you couldn't get the ingredients for that, and that was a lot more complicated.
Hey, it's not here anymore. Murderizing's as good a word as any. I mean,
Okay,
let's
so
face it, it didn't stop him coming back the first fucking time.
2 critical successes, 2 successes, and 3 just blanks. I have
Okay.
8 dice to roll for that.
That's fine. It takes you a while to find kind of what you're looking for.
Mhm.
It's basically like a paragraph, and you don't fully understand what it means.
Okay.
It basically says, to create a spectre, you must kill their heart and soul. Retrieve, retrieve the thing they crave the most, and tie it to them. And it's almost like it's been translated a number of times. So
Yeah.
there's a few different ways that could be interpreted.
Do I get the impression this is a particularly difficult thing to do? Or is there not even enough information to kind of figure that out?
You get the sense that to create one, you have to know the person, or at least to know enough about their life to be able to essentially create something in their death. It doesn't really give you whether it's easy or not. You, with that sort of role, you get the feeling that it's slightly unique to each person.
Okay.
But again, it does take you about a good hour because it's like crammed in between stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like it was purposefully hidden. It's almost like this book has been a collection of things, not necessarily like it's almost like it's been taken from different things. Like there's different handwriting in there. It's looking like there's pages that have been taken from somewhere else and put in, and things like that. It's an old book, but it's almost like a bastardization of many
Yeah.
others, all kind of crammed into one.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And while this is happening, Lou, you get a reply from Esme.
Yes.
Going, there's just, as far as I'm aware, there's nothing special about that area.
Let's go. Message her back. Just going. Okay, thanks. Someone's not leaving us alone.
Just like, in what way?
I think at this point Lou's gonna kind of... He doesn't like Esme, but he does trust her. I think, at this point, especially when it comes to Tabby. So, yeah, I think even there he's going to go, someone left a note on Tabby's nightstand with these coordinates written on it.
Okay, and you see it's like instant, like Esme typing. She's like, when did this happen? Like, what's going on?
Happened during the day whilst we were sleeping.
She goes, let me check out the area, and I'll get back to you.
Please and thank you.
And you can see there's like a typing, like dot dot dot, and then it's like stops, and then like nothing sent because you can almost feel that she really wants to say something, but it's like no, time is of the essence.
All right, Tabby, we're gonna have some people go and check out this location, and you know, you and I, we can regroup. Reinhardt, you haven't shown up yet, have you?
Well, I'll be walking over after I finish that search, so it depends when this happened in relation to when I was doing my thing.
Probably while you're still reading the book.
I'm just going.
Okay.
Shall we go down to the club, and I'll message the others to meet us there, so that we're not in the apartment? Would that help?
I don't know. They're finding us wherever we go, so I guess.
I know, but at least there's a lot of other people there.
Yeah.
And they're less likely to try something if there's a bunch of other people there.
That's true. That's true. Could be hiding amongst all the people.
Yeah.
What if? Do you know how Felders are able, the Elder Kindred, if they can pass through walls and things, or?
I don't know, darling. None of the vampires I've known have been that old. Like, we had some older people in the Toreador, but not, none of the people in my clan were quite elder kindred.
I'm getting their dinner.
Huh?
I was like, did you just get handed something there,
I
Sam?
did. I got some dinner. Okay.
Let's go down to the club, because at least there will be a bit safer.
Okay.
And we can decide what we're going to do from there. But I think it's best if we get out of the apartment for a little while.
Yes. Okay.
And I'll message Reinhardt and Cal and let them know we're going to go down to the club to Thirst.
So you head down there. It's fairly. I mean, it seems fairly normal. It's kind of quiet when you get there. It's still sort of starting off. The night. What's going on? And it's fairly normal. Again, you've got some kind of regulars that you recognize by sight and probably smell. And obviously the kind of usual people are in working. There's nothing that sort of screams suspicious. Not that probably matters much to Tabitha, but
We'll probably go sit down next to the speaker. With
Your
her back
usual
against
spot.
the speaker, yeah, and watching the room.
Children. That's fine. Again, the music that's playing, you'd recognise the DJ in the booth. you're not friends, but you're kind of like friendly rivals, at least music wise. And they sort of kind of recognize you, so they basically put on music that's got a heavier bass for you, so you can obviously properly feel it. Okay. You then get a message from Cal. It's not. It's from Cal's number, the same one that messaged you back. Except it is a picture of something kind of dark. It looks like there's vague shapes in the darkness,
Okay,
and that's all you get.
let's go. Hissing rattlings got hold of his phone again.
I love the rattlings.
Wonderful. Well, seeing as we're here and Tabby is taking a seat underneath the speaker to kind of drown out the voices in her head, Lou's just going to stand out front of the club for a moment. Take a kind of quick look around to see if there's anything or anyone suspicious out there. I can use heightened senses if that will help at all. But yeah, generally just kind of having a look to see if anyone's watching us. Or anyone's like watching the front of the club.
Let's see. Okay. I mean, it's entirely up to you about whether you want to use it or not. But you would do perception, even though it's not actually perception. If you do an awareness and insight rolls for me.
Awareness and insight.
And you can add to your Auspex rating to it.
And add my Auspex as well.
Yeah.
That made no difference whatsoever. That is 2 successes and 1 critical success.
Excellent. So obviously, as you're looking around, it's kind of getting to the point where the people that obviously the regulars are there basically when the place opens, getting to the point where a lot of the other pubs are now starting to close or wind down, so people are obviously kind of making their way there. It's again, you get the kind of sense of some people are there for the party, some people are there for just hanging out with their friends, dancing, you know, the usual kind of people that go to clubs. Because you've got your heightened senses, you do sense a few fellow kindred in the mix. Although it's technically on your territory, it is a public place, so there's sort of the kind of etiquette of you're basically eating from the same buffet, but you don't eat from the same plate,
Gotcha.
kind of deal. So it's one of those where as long as they don't cause any trouble, you don't cause any trouble.
Gotcha.
Again, there's been a couple of them around before. They tend to avoid being in the club, just because obviously your guys, obviously you have been established there for a little while. But you've had a few, like, so you recognise some of them. Some of them are a bit older, kind of around your age, slightly older. Some of them are very new. And you get flashbacks to when you first turned and you were getting taught how to essentially feed without killing someone, and having to control your essentially bloodlust so you didn't rip the throat out of everybody in the vicinity.
Took me a very long time to learn that because I genuinely didn't care for the most part.
So again, you can sense that there's a few sort of ones where you can kind of see them. It's kind of like on like your peripheral vision, where it's almost like there's like a smack up the back of the head, or they're like grabbing onto someone to just kind of get them to calm down a bit before shit hits the fan. But there's nothing that screams unusual for you guys. Obviously, you've got the sort of people that go to these places. Some people crave sex, others crave violence. You get folk that are there just to make contacts, to get high, to get drunk, to that sort of thing. But nothing really leaps out as suspicious to you.
That's fair. I honestly wasn't expecting there to be. I think it's pretty clear at this point that whoever's watching us doesn't need to physically be there to watch us, or at least can hide themselves pretty damn well. But yeah, paranoia takes hold, and he does have he has his check. And then whilst he's out there, he's just gonna message Mina, his artist friend, and just say, "Hey, darling, do you mind if my sister and I come over to your place in the morning? Someone broke into our house yesterday, and Tabby's feeling a bit unsafe."
Again, you don't hear anything for a few minutes, and then it comes back, and it's like, "Oh my God, Lou, are you guys okay? Of course you can come and stay for as long as you need to. I'll make sure that the curtains are up in the room, obviously, because she's got blackout curtains."
Yeah.
She's like, "I'll make sure everything's ready for you. Just let me know if you need anything. I assume you still have a spare key."
I do. Thank you, darling. I really appreciate it. I'll just go. Alright. Back inside and wait with Tabby for Reinhardt to show up.
So as Lou is outside, Tabitha, you get obviously a few people come up, not necessarily to you, but sort of like close to you. You're kind of used to this. A lot of people are obviously sort of fans of what you do. Other people are just sort of basically sort of club goers. There's nothing really, like, some of them recognize you and want to kind of talk to you. I don't know how you're going to react to people trying to talk to you.
I mean, she'll try to listen to them, but she's right next to the speaker, so I don't know how well she'll be able to hear them.
Probably better than they could hear her. I mean, he's hiding quite well.
He's doing his best.
Okay.
I mean, he was doing a pretty good job of hiding behind you.
Yeah.
Until it was like, "Look at my picture in front of your
Yeah.
face." Yeah, so you can hear them much more easily than they can hear you, even with the speaker going on behind you.
Yeah.
one of the perks of being a vampire.
Yeah.
Even without activating heightened senses, you still have better senses than humans. So they're just like
Those that are
blathering.
come and talk to me, I smell them.
Do you make it obvious that you're smelling them?
Yes.
Okay.
Do they smell human and normal?
Yes, they smell sort of like drunk.
Yeah.
And very, very full of life. But no, they don't smell anything suspicious.
She smiles, pats them on the head, and starts dancing.
Fair. Yeah, they're just like, oh my god, and they're like squealing at each other, and then just start like bopping about the place. Very uncoordinated. But yeah, so at this point, Reinhardt arrives at the club. What do you do?
I guess I'll just look around trying to find people, and yeah, see where everybody is.
I mean, it's not overly difficult to find Lou or Tabitha for very different reasons. Lou usually tends to have either a crowd of people around him or people staring at him.
Follow the eye line.
Yeah, and technically Tabitha does for just very different reasons. Usually, if there's something happening, there's a fair bet that Tabitha's going to be in the middle of it. So it's not difficult to find them. So do you all go to the booth or the VIP section?
I think eventually Tabitha would make her way to the VIP area just to get away from the crowds and people.
Yeah, I'll just follow, I guess.
Yeah. We'll head into the VIP. Probably the best place for us to hide out and talk.
Okay, so yeah, you get there with no issues whatsoever. Obviously they recognize you. They do say that they have got someone that's booked the VIP in about an hour. So you'll obviously have to leave before then.
Fair enough. Just looking and go, Steve booked out the VIP room? I don't feel like that happens very often. We almost always just come in here with no issue.
It's true.
Well, I'll be damned. Okay. So, Reinhardt. Someone got into our apartment yesterday. Or today, during the day.
Mm-hmm.
Whilst we were sleeping. And left a note on Tabby's bedside table with some coordinates, which, as far as I can tell, looks to be in the middle of fucking nowhere.
It was the man in my brain.
Okay.
Sadly, Tabby, that doesn't narrow it down.
That's fair. I've seen him. He was in my dream last night, and he said we should meet up. And it was the same person that was friends with the old lady. It's the same or friends.
Wait,
dominated
so
her.
The fucker whose brother we dug up and...
I don't think that's him.
No? Okay.
I think it's who brought David back. I think it's the same person.
Oh, shit. Well...
But every time I've
Actually,
tried
honestly,
to look at him, I can't. Them could be her. I don't know. Their voice is. It could be they. Their voice is nondescript and weird, and I can never see their face or what they look like, but they acted like they were the old lady's long lost friend or family, and they dominated him.
I'll be honest. The thought that this is the same person that brought David back as a specter is actually kind of comforting, because that's one fewer people who are pissed off at us than I thought. We have a location, and I spoke to Esme. I messaged Esme and asked if she knew anything about this place, and she said that she was going to send someone to check it out. So,
What if we don't hear back from them? What if then they're just gone?
I don't know. The only other thing to do would be to just go and check it out ourselves, but this stuff just doesn't stop. I know it's reckless, and I'm trying to be better when it comes to that shit. It's just, I'm getting pretty sick and tired of us wandering and stumbling to try and find a lead, and then someone drops one in the most menacing way possible, and us not jump at it.
Yeah.
I mean, the reason they did it could be to get you to go out.
Well, that's kind of what we're assuming, right? And
Other than saying that, if they wanted to kill you, they could have just done it then.
They would have done it. They
it's
got
true.
into the house.
That's true.
Yeah.
I
So
see.
where are you sleeping tonight then? Well,
At a friend of mine's.
okay.
She's aware that we are kindred, but she is human.
Does she have adequate safety?
She's relatively nondescript for anyone who would be looking for us.
I just want to check something.
Safer than home for now.
No. That wouldn't work.
But yes, I'm very much thinking, let's just go to this place and see what's there.
Maybe Esme can meet us there.
Yeah.
Actually, that would be useful. I need to speak to Esme.
Well, that's handy, because I think she might have gone as well with. I don't know if she sent someone or if she went herself. Either way, yeah.
Okay.
Let's go, prepare for the worst, and at least try and stay ahead of this thing.
Okay.
Yes.
So you're heading to the place. Are you going to message Esme to meet you there?
Probably somewhere near there, not directly in that location.
Not actually there.
Yeah.
That's fine. So as you message Esme, she's like, I'm already here. There's nothing.
Okay.
And it's like, did they give you, was there a date, time, anything on the letter?
On the letter, no, it was just the coordinates, wasn't it? So yeah, we'll just be open and honest. Like, no date, no time, just location.
No, again. She's like, well, there's nothing here. Check the area. Unless there's something specifically left for Tabitha.
Maybe we have to go. Okay. Tell her to stay there.
Yes. Messenger say, we're on our way. Meet us there. Question mark.
Okay.
When I'm gonna ask Tabitha for Esme's number as well.
Sure.
Cool. I'm gonna send Esme a quick message that says we need to talk, Reinhardt. And just leave it at that.
Regards.
No,
She's
it
like-
doesn't. I should do. I remain your faithful servant.
Sincerely.
R.J.
She's like, can it wait? Sort of dealing with stuff at the moment.
I'll reply yes, or when we meet, whatever nonsense we get out of this time.
She's just like, okay, we'll see you soon. So are you guys getting a taxi there, or are you?
Do you have an Uber friend?
You do have an Uber friend. You should get an
Uber friend, assemble.
Okay, so we're just gonna assume that he came quickly and you got there fairly easily in one piece.
Excellent.
Unless you guys want to roleplay it all out.
Roleplay out the entire Uber trip, absolutely.
Actually, how far out? Like, I
How
wouldn't
long is the
mind
trip?
having a look at this place because now I have a fancy phone. I can do maps and stuff. And I wouldn't mind having a look at where it is and see if it maybe triggers any memories for me.
Street views.
Well, if it's in the middle of nowhere, is it a field? What is it?
It's not quite in the middle of nowhere. It's basically it's just a kind of like forest on the kind of outskirts of town. Well, sort of towards the suburbs. So there's nothing really nearby. There's no real building. Nothing. I mean, you can roll if you want to see if you recognize anything.
Yeah, it's also like, I know there's other. Yeah, I'll roll see if I recognize it. Is it piquing maybe a memory from my past?
Okay, if you could do an intelligence and resolve roll for me.
Ooh. Okay, that's 3,
So badly at that.
4.
Do our willpowers, does willpower reset after
Yes.
sleep or okay?
I need to do math. 4, 7, 4. There's 6 and a hunger dice.
We haven't done much with humanity. When does that come up in the game?
Okay.
It's not really a big thing at the moment.
Okay.
It sort of slightly came into play a little bit when Lou decided to kill David, but he wasn't emotionally attached
Okay.
to him.
Okay.
Okay. I got.
Jack.
Sorry.
I think she said cat.
No, it was dog bark, but it was
okay.
very piercing and very sudden, and the microphone went really weird.
Oh dear. So I got 3 successes, a success on my hunger die, a critical success on my normal dice, and 2 like blanks. Which I don't think
Okay.
are fails. I think they're just like nothing, aren't they?
Yeah, they're just
So yeah,
They're-
whatever.
technically fails. They're just not critical fails.
Yeah, I'm rolling. That's like 2 critical successes I've had in 2 rolls.
Nice.
Nice.
Ah.
It's good.
Yeah, so you don't necessarily recognize the area, like specifically. It does sort of trigger memories of like kind of flashes from when you were turned in your sort of early days as a vampire, but it wasn't in this specific area. But just the whole, almost like, I'm assuming you go into almost like Street View or
Yeah,
like
or if it's
Google
like
Maps when you can do like this satellite image.
so probably like if it maybe like Street View to look at it. If it's obviously just like a forest, then you'd probably go into like satellite view, or you can get the train view where it shows the contour lines to try and remember. Then maybe zoom out to see nearby towns to try and remember. Did I ever pass through here when I was doing when I was working on my great work?
Again, you don't. I mean, you recognize the names of the towns, but mainly because of old research and things that you've done in the area. Um, not going to actually pick a location, just so you're aware. I'm just having a look to see sort of roughly. Yeah, so there's not big towns. Like again, you've gone to that kind of vague area to investigate things, um, and to, well, not investigate things, but to chase up things like books and um, like chase up facts and things like that.
Yeah.
So you do recognize the name of some of the towns,
Okay.
but none of them stick out as anything important. Like you don't see why someone would be in that area or want to meet in that area apart from the fact that it's fairly isolated.
Okay.
But obviously, if Esme's out there and there doesn't seem to be anything there, you don't know what it could be.
Yet.
Yeah.
Just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not there.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is. I kind of expected there to be something.
So yeah, you guys get out of the Uber again, basically in the middle of the middle of a road. There's nothing really. Like the nearest town's about 10 minutes away by car. Um, like you've driven through it. It was a tiny little village essentially. Not a lot going on there. And now you've just stopped in the middle of the road according to the GPS. And it's basically in a field.
This feels bad. So, just to let you know, to bring someone back as a spooky ghost, they either had to know them or know enough about their life. Like, I couldn't, like, you, as far as I know, from what I could understand, you can't just randomly bring back someone you didn't have a good enough knowledge of.
So whoever brought David back knew David.
Was either related to them or knew enough about their life to be able to do it. Is that a fair summary?
From what you can tell, yeah.
Yeah, and it's not just like a passing knowledge. You'd have to have deep under, like you'd need to know enough about their life that Like, you couldn't just do it about somebody's name you heard. You know, like, there was David, this, like, policeman who got killed. You couldn't then go, I'll bring David back as a spooky ghost. It needs to be more in
You would
depth
need to
than
know
that.
them more intimately than that. Well, that is certainly interesting. In the entire time I was fucking the guy, I never once asked about his friends or family, so I have no idea.
So inconsiderate.
David
To be
was...
fair to
source.
David, he did tell you all of this.
That's true. Let's see if I can recall anything he said.
I mean, you can if you want to roll for it.
Sure.
So again, that would be an intelligence and resolve.
Oh.
If you can. The ones that you're not great at.
I'm not great at those.
And Tabitha's looking out of the car, trying to sense unseen.
I got a success. No critical failures, so...
Okay, you remember him mentioning something about he was engaged at one point?
Oh!
That's basically all you can really... Something about a family member that he was close to. Not parents as such, but another family member he was close to. That's about all you can recall.
He talked a lot, and I very much just tuned most of it out, unless it was useful. He was engaged at one point, maybe a fiance, and there was a relative he was close to, but I don't know who it is. Damn. Luke can take out his phone and go back through his message history with David and just kind of like search for any key words that might like might clue him into something, because he's genuinely not sure who would have had this kind of connection with David and that would have had the ability to do that.
Okay. While you're having a look through them, Sarah, can you do a... So you're actually trying to see if you can sense...
Sense unseen.
Okay. If you can do resolve and auspice.
Alright, auspice is 2, and resolve. Where's my resolve? There it is, 3. And which one will be my 5? That's a 9. That's 1. That's 9. And that's a 9. So 3 successes and 1 critical fail.
Okay. So you immediately sense Esme out there. You know her well enough to be able to pick up on her. It's not that she's... You know her well enough to know that she's not hiding from you.
Yeah.
She's just making sure that if there is anything there, that it won't necessarily sense her.
Yeah.
So if Reinhardt and Lou probably wouldn't be able to see her, just they don't have that connection that you do. And I don't actually know if either of you have sense unseen.
No, I just have heightened senses.
it's not a me thing.
I've only got 1 point in Auspex, so...
Yeah.
I don't even think I've got anything that lets me see, like, stuff. Let me check. I mean, not unless I just wanted to start randomly doing a ritual. Then I could potentially see her.
I mean, if you want to, you can, but
No,
I feel like
it's
it's a bit of
probably
a waste of
overkill.
time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have
So yeah,
some
you can sense. You can also sense that there's something. There's not. It's not person. It's not even another vampire, but it's like you get a sort of slight tingling on kind of like the edge of your mind.
Yeah.
And it's something that you felt before. And it's almost like it's calling out to you. And it's coming from not far away from where Esme is. It's not moving.
Yeah.
It's almost like, when you can hear a noise that no one else can hear, but it's there. Like when it gets louder, other people can hear it.
Yeah.
But it's almost like it's at this sort of pitch that nobody can notice except you.
There's something there. And she'll get out of the car.
That's fair. Lou, as you're looking through messages, again, a lot of it is
Just so much.
I don't know. Did you keep the messages from David?
Yeah, I feel like I would have.
Okay, so a lot of them are just him slavering soppy nonsense at you. There's a few mentions of names and work, but you have no idea where they are. Like the names could be people he works with, or it could be family. There's almost no context around it. So it's one of those where he obviously said something in person.
Yeah.
And you just have no context for who these names belong to.
No, not at all. Well, that is annoying. I don't know who it could have been.
And then at this moment, I assume Tabitha's getting out of the car.
Yeah. She just literally says, "There's something out there," and then she gets out of the car. And I will look for Esme and go towards her.
I mean, you almost walk straight up to her. You can't necessarily see her,
Yeah.
but you know where she is. It's
Yeah.
like when you're walking through a room in the dark, like you know where the bed is, or like a chair. You might not know exactly where, but you know the general area.
Yeah.
So you know that when you get close enough, she'll probably show herself. Are the other two following?
Yeah, it's staying close together because God knows what the hell's going to happen.
We now have a 5-foot gap.
Right, okay.
know.
Following at the rear, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, you guys walk up and Esme basically appears and she's like, there's nothing here.
There's something
Like-
here.
What do you mean there's something?
I can feel it. It's like there's an... Like my brain's itching.
God damn.
That way.
Okay.
It's not a person. I don't know what it is.
Esme's like, I didn't notice anything.
I'll start to walk towards wherever it is slowly.
Understandable.
Lou will
Um,
kind of just put his hand behind his back and just on the handle of his gun because he's definitely brought that with him for this one.
That's fair. So obviously, because you can see fairly well in the dark, being vampires and all, as you are used, obviously I know that Tabitha knows sort of like roughly, it's almost like you're getting like a radar sort of thing.
Yeah.
Are you two looking at the ground or around, or are you just sort of like trying to be passively aware of what could potentially spring out of the shadows?
Probably just passively aware, I'd think.
Okay. Could you do an awareness roll for me?
I can certainly try.
What
Let me
about
just
Lou?
check.
Are you
Awareness?
sort of, well, are you looking at the ground, or are you trying to see where Tabitha's going, or are you just trying to make sure nothing's going to leap out from behind you and bite you in the arm?
I am very dead set focused on Tabitha at this point, and just kind of trying to stay close to where she is.
I rolled
What did you get in awareness?
a single success on my single dice.
Nice.
Nice.
Okay, so you notice that the air around you is sort of like almost a little bit thicker than normal. It's not. It doesn't feel dangerous as such. It feels like it's filled with tension.
Is it?
There-
So is it like the actual air's thicker, or is it that kind of that feeling when you know you're walking potentially into something dangerous and you're a bit on edge? And
No, it's more. It's more like when you're somewhere and it's like the birds stop singing and the animals stop making noises and it gets eerily quiet.
oh yeah,
And it's not like a, oh my god, something's gonna leap out and attack me. It's more a, what just happened? Like there's like an air of tension. It's not necessarily the feeling of being in danger or there's a predator or anything like that. It's almost like everything was fine and everything was fine and everything was fine, and it was almost like you sort of crossed this weird sort of boundary. It's a very similar sort of feeling that you like dulled right down, but the very sort of similar feeling that Reinhardt got when he was walking round Frey
Hmm.
and all of the streets where it was like at one point you were walking, everything's fine, and then it was like everyone was trying to stay quiet. It's like that, but very diluted. So it's like it's trying not to bring attention to itself.
Cool.
Tabitha, you are immediately aware when you get close that this is the magic that you felt that was around Frey. Again, very diluted. Again,
Yeah.
it's like it's trying not to draw other people's attention, but you can feel it's definitely there for you.
I'll stop and start to back up.
Okay, fair.
Tabby, what's going on?
It's like prey, it's the same. It's the same magic. It's not as strong.
I feel like nodding my head in agreement.
But it's the same field, it's the same taste.
Okay then. Well, if it's not as strong, why don't I have a walk around and see if I can see if anything tries to stop me from approaching. And
I don't think it's. Is it the not approaching, or is it the more the dulled? Everything's super quiet.
Yeah, it's more like it. It kind of is like it was around Free, so it's not. It's almost like that proper animalistic part of you is like it doesn't. It's not a. I don't want to be here. I need to get out now. It's more a. If I can go around this area, I'm going to go around this area, and if I have to go through it, I'm just going to be really quiet and tiptoe my way through it. Like it's not as. It would be one where you would probably, if you hadn't have been so aware, you would have unconsciously walked around it in a circle.
Okay.
So you get the sense that that's basically what happened with Esme. Like she wasn't really, because she was looking for a person or a note or like a building or something left there. It was almost like you can feel that if you weren't paying attention, you would have skirted around the edge of it without realizing. It's almost like this area is trying to stay hidden, but because you are a little bit more familiar, you have gone into it. It's not
It's
evil.
not something that would trap us, it's something that's just trying to keep noise and stuff out. Okay.
Yeah, it's something that's trying to keep people away from it without them being aware that they're trying to keep them away from it.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like it's an Auspex thing then.
Yeah. So
Okay.
it's very much there is something there, but if you you get the feeling that it was basically left specially for you.
Yeah.
Because you're now so tuned to it that even if you hadn't been searching for it, you would have noticed when you got close enough to it.
Yeah.
But if the guys hadn't have been Lou's probably completely, he doesn't notice it at all. So he's unconsciously sort of skirted around the edge without being fully aware of it.
Tabitha's gonna grab Lou's hand, the one that's not holding on to a gun, and just keep walking forward. She's got a death grip on your hand.
So yeah, as you go through, again, it's almost like the tension sort of creeps up your spine a little.
Yeah.
Like it's not a danger thing, it's more a I shouldn't be here, like something doesn't want me here. And it's like weirdly quiet.
She's tapping beats on her other hand.
You'll be alright, kitten. I'm not gonna let anything happen to you, Tabby.
So are you heading for the whatever seems to be pulling you towards it?
Yeah, heading in.
It's like walking into it. It's a trap. It's like I don't know what else.
So it's not a fairly big area, because that would be really noticeable. It's maybe about 6 foot across. It seems like it's kind of circular.
Yeah.
And in the middle of it, there's a box that has your name on it. What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna tap the box with my foot.
Nothing happens. It just seems like a normal box.
How's my head? Is it? Does it say Tabitha on the top of it?
Yes. In the same handwriting, from what you can tell, same handwriting that left the note.
But I don't sense anybody else around. It's just...
No. It's just the box.
Okay. I'll go to open it.
Okay. And that happens as you open the box. There's a mobile phone inside it. Okay. And it's literally buzzed on a message as you opened the box.
All right. I will look at it. What kind of phone is it?
It's a fairly nondescript smartphone.
Okay.
It seems like it's got just the very basic apps and things on it. Like if you got a brand new phone before you passed everything on.
Yeah.
What it looked like.
Okay. I'll look at the message. Open it.
It just says, "Glad to see you trusted me, even with some extra friends." It goes, and then there's another message that pops up, and it goes, "We will meet face to face soon. But for now, if you need me, I'm here."
I'll type, "Who are you?"
She's
actually writing.
Yeah. It's like, "Who are you?"
Yeah.
And a message comes back going, "I'm an admirer."
She'll look up confused at Lou.
That doesn't narrow it down either.
It's literally like I am a ... an admirer.
So,
Does the box look the same as the one that had like the jar and the head and stuff in it?
No, this is very much ornate. It almost looks hand carved with your name carved into
A wooden box.
a wooden box.
Fancy.
And it's just the right size. So it's got like uh sort of satin, like purple satin pillow inside it that's like perfectly fit for the mobile phone. So it's just slightly bigger than the
Yeah.
phone. But it's like the whole thing's been perfectly carved so that so that the phone sits perfectly in the cushion and that it seals. There's not a squeak, there's not a mark on it apart from the fact that it's sitting in this field with your name carved into the top.
She'll send another message back and just write Luke question mark.
Um,
She doesn't know.
and at that, it's an instant reply going, no, I'm not Luke.
Abby, darling, Luke's been gone, right?
Yeah, I don't know where he is. I haven't seen him in 10 years.
And all the better for it.
Yeah.
Tabitha ever said what the names of the people that she hears are?
Possibly, but
No.
mainly I think you've mentioned a few times, but mainly when you've been
Mostly alone.
arguing. Yeah, I think it might be one where you've heard, because I think Lou's aware of them all.
Yeah.
So I think there's been like the odd names, but you have no context for them.
Okay. I'd probably suggest that you should maybe ask if it's one of those names that I've heard you say.
I wouldn't call them admirers.
No, you've got quite the fan base, though.
Yeah.
And they might see it as admiration, you might not.
That's true. Whoever this person is, they're pretty fucking sadistic.
Sorry, I'm like hypocrite much.
I mean, takes one to know one, but still.
I'm gonna examine the box itself to see if there's anything in it or beyond the little cushion, like taking like cushion out and
I feel like I would make you roll for it, but it's a fairly small box. So yeah, so as you pull the cushion out, a little key falls out.
okay.
It almost looks like a key from, like, you remember when you were a kid and you had the diaries
Yeah.
and it had like a little lock and key? It's that sort of small type key.
Okay.
That's what it looks like to you. You have no clue what it could open. It might not even be for a diary, but that's what it looks like.
And there's nothing else in it, just this key.
Just this little key. And then as you pick up the key, you get a message that basically goes, not like in a sarcastic way, but the person's like, "Heh, I wondered if you'd find it. When you're ready, I'll send you what it unlocks."
I understand.
intrigue. And at this, Esme seems to be the only one that's realised that someone can see you because they're replying to the messages.
Yeah.
No, fully clued in on that.
Yeah.
And she's obviously sort of scouting the area again, just
Yeah.
to make sure.
Can I don't know if it would work, but use this person so elusive, but attempt premonition.
I mean, you can try.
Yeah.
So if you do resolve an aspect for,
Yeah.
and we'll see.
Is sure I'm looking at that right. I think that's a okay, I think that's 4 successes.
Wow. Okay, so you sort of focus on, are you focusing on the phone, the message, the key, the magic, what?
The message.
So the actual text message.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So as you do that, you feel amusement coming from this person.
Mm-hmm.
And not nasty, but in a way of they know what you're trying to do and they're going to humor you a little bit.
Okay.
Because obviously they seem to know much more about you than you do of them. So it's almost like you can see what they're seeing, but only because they've let you.
Okay.
So you can see the sort of phone, the messages that you've exchanged so far. The phone's almost like a spitting image of the one that you got in your hand.
Mm-hmm.
You can see the hands are quite dainty looking, but elegant. So it's one of those where you would presume more female, but not necessarily. It could just be that it's a sort of really dainty man. You can see that this person doesn't seem to be anywhere near you.
Yeah.
But has a laptop in front of them that has an image of you guys on it.
Yeah.
And you can tell that this person's doing it on purpose.
Yeah.
And at that moment, they send a message that obviously you see them typing before you receive on the phone.
Yeah.
That goes, I want you to trust me, Tabitha. Here's our first step. The drone is above and behind you. And basically, do you turn? Like, so not them, but do you turn?
Yeah.
So as you do, it's almost like you can see through their eyes and your own at the same time. It's a very weird sensation. Luckily, it doesn't last very long because
Yeah.
it makes you feel a bit sick and dizzy.
Yeah.
But you basically turn to look at it. It's almost like they're directing you a little bit. And you can see it. It's too far away for you to hear. But now that you know what you're looking for, you can see a sort of shape in the sky.
Yeah.
And it goes, I told you, I just want to be friends.
Do the rest of us see this?
If you turn to look at what Tabitha's looking for, you will eventually see a sort of slight shape in the sky. It's not very big. And basically it goes, the next message again that you see as it's being typed out, goes, you can call me S.
S.
S. Yeah.
Hmm.
But you get the feeling that it's not actually linked to their name.
Yeah.
They've done it as a, you can call me S.
Yeah.
And at that point, they don't necessarily boot you out, but they basically like push you back into your own body, and you're still staying at the drone. And as you were leaving, you could see you looking at you through
Yeah.
their eyes and you. And again, it's a bit of a trippy moment because you go from one angle and then you blink and it's the other angle.
Yeah.
You don't sense any malice from them,
Yeah.
but you can definitely tell that they mean what they say to you, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you are safe as such.
Yeah.
But yeah, they definitely did that on purpose. And then you get a message going, sorry for the vertigo.
Sorry for what?
The vertigo.
Oh. Um.
Thanks.
They're not here. Obviously.
No, they're still toying with us. Assuming these messages came through from like a blocked or unknown number and not left an actual phone number on that.
No, there is.
Oh.
It's saved into the phone. It's not saved under a name.
No. Lou's gonna take out his phone and dial the number.
Okay, you actually call him the number.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't connect.
Fucking asshole.
And at this point, Esme's like, what the fuck is going on? Because she also spotted the drone when you all turned to look at it.
Well, apparently, whoever this person is fucking with us and is spying on us with the drone.
That's quite sneaky.
The magic here was like that around Prey. We already assumed that whoever this person was also behind that whole scenario. They were also behind the whole David scenario, which means that they must have known him in some way. Must have known him. So unless they maybe... It could be someone close to him, or maybe they started trying to get close to David after I got close to David. If they were already after us at that point. I don't know.
I can honestly say I don't have a clue, and that is frustrating.
Yep, it definitely is. Honestly, right now, I just feel like I want to go down to Prey and fucking petrol bomb the whole place.
While I understand the frustration, we all know that's not a good idea. Don't think you'd get anywhere close. Believe me,
Hmm, that's fair. God, I hate this so much.
Tabitha's scrolling through
why?
the phone to see if there's any pictures or anything in it.
There are pictures in it. It's not of you guys. It's weird because it's almost things that you, Tabitha, would enjoy. Nothing bad, but like a cool bag or like a hat
Yeah.
or like a plant and weird things like that.
I don't understand.
No, I don't either.
It didn't seem malicious. I don't feel safe. I don't want to be here now.
No, I don't either. Um, how much longer do I have to wait until the Toreadors are in town? Because I've completely lost track on that again.
I don't think they gave you a specific time. I think it was just we'll be in touch.
Right.
To
Yeah.
So
arrive
it
precisely
could,
when they intend to.
I mean, it could literally be any time from now.
yeah.
Tabitha will take the box and the key and the phone back with her.
Yeah.
She'll look at the drone and then turn around and start walking back to the car.
You get a message going, "Bye, Tabitha. See you soon."
She doesn't respond. She's very overwhelmed right now.
Yep.
She put her headphones in and everyone can hear her music.
Are you? No, I was gonna say, but she pulled her headphones out. So are you guys obviously following Tabitha?
Yes.
Is Esme following her, or is Esme still stood around?
She's kind of hovering at the back. So you did see you took everything, the box and everything in it. Sarah. Yeah, that's fine. She's almost like staring at the ground and at the drone. And then she sort of turns to follow Tabitha and Lou.
Okay,
Actually,
well,
I was gonna say, yeah. Before I leave, I will stop and talk to Esme, and then I'll let Reinhardt do his things. I think his thing's gonna take longer than mine will. Because I do want to just say one quick thing to her.
That's fine.
So Lou would kind of stop and just go, you don't like me. That's fine. I've never been particularly fond of you either. We're just very different people. When it comes to Tabby, I do trust you. And I hope that goes both ways.
As much as it pains me to say, yes, I do trust you with Tabitha.
Good. Because I have a feeling that we're going to have to be working closely together, at least for a period, so at least we have that.
Yes. Well, strange bedfellows and all that,
I've definitely had some strange bedfellows, but I know that's not what you meant.
No, that's not what I meant. And she's like, can you send me that number? I want to see if we can
Done.
do anything on our end.
Done.
Okay. You can tell she's like fairly distracted. She's sort of staring at the back of Tabitha, like not in a bad bit, and very much a concerned, oh shit, what the hell kind of way. Um, she's like, she turns to you and she's like, Tabitha will need you tonight. Don't leave it alone.
Don't worry. I won't be leaving her alone. And we're staying with a friend tonight, seeing as this fucker definitely knows where we live. Not sure if it'll be much safer, but take our chances. And I will make sure to keep a close eye on her.
She's like, okay. If you need anything, tell me. I have people I trust.
I will. And I appreciate that. But, yeah. We'll get going. I believe Magic Man wants to talk to you as well.
Good luck.
You too. And
And she turns to Reinhardt, like as I'm assuming Lou walks away.
Yep.
Like, yes, Reinhardt, was it?
Yep.
How can I help?
So, as you know, we dealt with that wonderful spectre thing.
Spectre, yes.
And
Good job.
I know. And in even better news, I think we should share some information.
No.
Yep. I kept her safe, like I said it would.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe you can share a bit of information about those bodies.
Depends on what you want to know.
You said you know what's happening. What's happened tonight makes me think that's not entirely true anymore.
No, I said I know. We suspect we know what's going on with the bodies. This, I have not got a clue where this fits into it all.
I see. And what do you think is going on with the bodies then?
It's a ritual of sorts.
Mm-hmm.
To bring someone forward in time.
Fucking knew it.
It can also be used to send someone back in time. You just need to change a few things around.
Oh, someone's coming forward.
We think we know who. Why, we're not entirely sure.
Did he hang around in London? Maybe wore a really big hat.
Well, funnily enough, we don't actually know what he wore.
In autumn of 1888.
So, is that who you think it is?
It could be, but nobody knows for sure who he is or
Was
what.
he one of us?
Don't know.
Oh, that'd be interesting. I wonder if he's one of mine.
We genuinely don't know. Whoever was around at that time has never spoken. There are a few that I know who were around at that time, and they do not speak of it.
Bet you one who might know. Whomever or
Who?
whatever is in prey.
Possibly.
I mean, it's
Um,
ancient.
Possibly. We don't know for certain. Nobody's managed to get in
Yeah.
and get out to tell the tale. Or at least people that do get out don't come out whole.
Yeah. I noticed that when I drank some of their blood.
I'm not sure how they do it. I mean, while still keeping them as functioning human beings.
Sorry, can you say that again? Didn't hear that properly.
We don't know how they're managing to keep them as functioning human beings. Usually, when you remove part of a soul, it ends not well.
Could they be using keeping them in like almost like a pseudo ghoul state?
No, you don't lose your soul when you become a ghoul. It's
No, but I mean
almost
if
like
they were to remove the soul and then
no,
no, can't do that.
no. Once you remove a soul, you are no longer mortal. It's very complicated. Um,
Hmm.
and it takes to do it well, you either need to take your time or be very, very well practiced. To remove half a soul
Hmm.
and still keep them functioning is a level of skill I've never seen.
Okay. Another interesting fact. Whoever made that spectre, um, they're partly responsible for everything else that's going on.
Yes, we could probably assume that very well.
And you've got no idea.
No, whoever it is being
But who's the power?
annoyingly quiet.
Yeah, but who's the power to keep an ancient vampire under control, to ward an entire building plus a few blocks of a city, and bring a spectre back into the body, which means they must have known the person well enough to do it in the first place, and pull somebody through time.
The Spectre part is easy. If you have the right. It's not, well, it's not easy, but you could create a Spectre.
But you have to know
Um,
the person.
doesn't doesn't mean it's not difficult to do. Um, Again, if you knew someone well enough and you knew what made them tick and what they held dear, it's it's not easy, but it's not hard to make a Spectre.
Bouncing is they had to know this person well enough and knew what made them tick, right?
Hmm.
Which makes me think we need to start looking at his friends and family. Or he had a soul.
Not not necessarily. Like you say, it could be a stalker. It could be someone that was posing as a friend.
Mm,
It could be, I mean, think about technology now. You could post his whole life online.
yeah.
All it takes is someone with the right amount of skill.
Mm.
And I think you've got it all wrong.
Mm.
It's not, I don't think someone's keeping an elder there or keeping them under control. You don't just control an elder. You've never met an elder or an ancient before, have
Nope.
you? Yeah, even your sire's not an elder. Well, he is technically an elder, but he's nowhere near ancient. Um, Ancients, you don't keep under control. Um, they have survived so long for a reason, especially after the Inquisition. It was only the strong, the smart, and the sneaky that survived. You don't
Or
keep
the
them under
lucky.
control. What?
Or the lucky.
Nah.
I
What you've
survived the
got to
second.
realise. Possibly the lucky, but
Yeah,
usually,
got out just in time.
luckily, um, luck only played so much of a part in it. You still had to possess something to hide you from the eyes of the mortals and the knowing.
So there's an ancient. It obviously, in this case, it wants to stay in a nightclub. Liberace wasn't one of us, was he? So either it's staying there because it wants to be, or they've promised it something.
Your guess is as good as ours.
This is wild. Is it still the sheriff looking into it?
The sheriff looks into everything.
Yeah, but I mean, is this getting? I imagine this is getting a lot of attention, right?
I mean, yes.
Because obviously my sire is taking a passing interest in it.
No, we're aware.
I mean, you can't blame us.
Oh no, we don't.
This is what magic. This is our thing. He could be useful to have on your side.
That's yeah. I don't even know what the word to call it. Nice of you to think so. Um, your sire is good at what he does. Um, I'm also very intrigued about what he's told you, because even your sire is terrified of the sheriff and prince, and you really don't think he's already on board.
He doesn't really tell me much.
That sounds like him.
I have a handler.
Ah, let me guess. Aquila?
Yep.
Yes, we've met.
I think she'll go far.
If she doesn't piss off the wrong person first.
I mean, that's our way.
What, pissing off the wrong people?
The search for knowledge often gets you into tricky areas.
Yeah, well, if she pisses off the wrong person, even your sire can't do anything about it.
I mean, as long as I get her stuff, I don't really mind.
You'd have to be quick.
Okay. Well, that's really all I wanted to come in, kind of relate to you, really, that lovely bit of information we found out.
Mm. Yes, this is getting more and more annoying and complicated the longer this goes on.
I mean, I don't think I'm not going to be able to steer them away from it. You know that.
Oh, I'm well aware.
Okay. And,
Mm.
I mean, I am as loyal as any other Tremere is to their coterie.
I'm aware. I expect nothing from you but to do what benefits you
As long as we understand each
in
other.
whatever way that takes.
Yeah, as long as we understand each other.
Just so that we understand each other. If anything happens to Tabitha and you could have stopped it, there will be nothing left of you by the time.
I mean, she's the least annoying of them all.
I mean, I wouldn't go that far. Like proper long-suffering sigh from Esme.
I will do my best, but I mean, yeah, you'll kill me. I mean,
Oh.
I didn't expect to make it past that fight with the Spectre, and I'm expecting a healer to try and come and kill me at some point. So, your threat, although I understand it, it doesn't really do that much for me. However, maybe a trade. How about that?
Of what? For what?
Knowledge. I'll keep her
For
safe, and I'll keep her as safe as I can. And if that means doing whatever to keep her safe, then doing whatever. If it's distracting, then it's distracting. I mean, threatening to kill me when I've already accepted that because of what I am, that it's more than likely going to happen anyway, isn't really a threat.
oh, you naive little soul. When I say that there'll be nothing left of you, I don't necessarily mean death. I mean ripping all of the knowledge out of your brain, piece by piece, slowly and painfully.
I mean, then you know the clan will just kill me because I've become
Oh,
used to them.
yes,
So,
it would be so sad.
hmm?
Nothing. We'll see. It depends on what happens next.
Well, I mean, I'm not. They're staying at. Do you not have anywhere safer they could stay?
Do you really think they'd want to go anywhere else?
I think if you told them.
Really?
I mean,
That Tabitha would do what she was told?
Tabitha could have
That
died.
Lou would listen if he thinks he's got someplace safe for Tabitha and Tabitha's happy to go there.
I mean, I could just go and burn down the other place.
Because that's going to help situations right now.
Yeah, I mean,
Just take another safe space away from Tabitha.
I mean,
It's like you
it's not
don't know her
really
at
safe.
all.
It's not really safe, is it?
She thinks it's safer than going home. That's all that matters for now.
Yeah, I mean, she can't really go home because whoever that is that had the mobile could get into the flat easy enough.
I mean, they were watching this with a drone.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure there's probably not really many places that are properly safe. But if Tabitha feels safer there,
Oh, I
then
could think
that's
of
where
one
she's going to
place.
feel safer.
Could think of one place, and Lou would hate it.
Really, the sewers.
Yeah.
I don't think you'd get Tabitha down there in the state that she's in now.
I mean, if we put some really big speakers down there and just played music,
You, have you met what lives in the sewers?
I mean, Cal and his block, yeah.
You know that Cal's actually quite sane for his lot.
Yeah, I mean, it might work. I mean, or they could just come and stay with me. That's the other option.
I mean, that's perfectly up to you. You think you
Because
can.
I can do a ritual to mean that if anybody enters where I'm staying, I can be woken up.
Then I'm not sure why you're explaining this to me.
Neither do I.
Tabitha's the one you have to convince.
No, I mean, that's just not going to happen. I mean, she's going to touch all my stuff.
Yes, that is what Tabitha
There is
does.
stuff
This is
hundreds of
why she
years
doesn't
old.
come to my place.
There is stuff hundreds of years old in there.
Yep. I'm aware.
But
Should have seen what happened the last time she was in there.
it's probably the safest option.
Well, good luck to you, sir.
Because
She's got this haunted look on her face from memories of the last time Tabitha was at her place.
I'll offer. I'm sure they won't take me up on it, but that's up to them.
Well, if they do, I wish you all the best of luck. You will need it.
Hmm. Anyway, I suppose we probably should go catch up with them, shouldn't we?
Yeah, this is not a normal situation.
I mean, normal went out the window when, like, we found out they were trying to pull people through time, and then there was an ancient vampire hiding in a nightclub. That's
I mean,
kind
that
of
was unusual.
yeah. And then we found someone with no soul. That was pretty weird. I mean, there was a point quite a while ago that normal just fucked off out the window and just kept going.
Mm,
At least we live in interesting times.
this is true. I've lived through slightly weirder, but far less complicated. Don't know where Tabitha is. Hmm. Hmm. I am going to let you go and convince Tabitha, if you can, to go somewhere else. I need to visit a man in a box. And at that, she just disappears.
Okay. Alright, I'm gonna wander over to Tabitha and Lou. So,
while that's happening, I think because we're probably alone for a while in the car waiting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Tabitha, she's going over everything that's been happening, and I think she'll text on the phone to this mysterious number and this mysterious person and just type, "Where can I find Pete Gardner?"
Okay, you get a sort of laughy emoji
Yeah.
sent. And it's basically like he's been under your feet the whole time.
Under my feet. I'll send back a middle finger.
And it sends back more laughy faces.
So, a lot has just gone down, and my brain has thrown out probably the most insane theory that I think I've come up with in a while. But I can't help but think that it would make sense on some level for some reason, and I don't know why, because it sounds so stupid to. So they're doing this ritual to try and pull something through time.
Yeah.
What if they've already done that before?
Mm-hmm.
A spectre was created by someone who knew David intimately.
Mm-hmm.
I knew David fairly intimately.
Mm-hmm.
We've been spied on by a drone. That very much seems like the kind of thing Cal would play around with. There are magical wards up, which certainly would fit into Reinhardt's domain.
Mm-hmm.
Is there even the slightest chance that we came back in time and started fucking with ourselves? I know how stupid that sounds. But, I mean, who would know better how to get into our apartment than us?
Hurts my brain.
Yeah, mine too.
Because that's... Then they'd be coming back in time.
Yes. So they've come back in time. I mean, it worked one way. I don't see why it couldn't work the other, right?
But to what end?
I mean, it's us. Who fucking knows? Something that maybe happened at some point that hasn't happened yet.
Can I do premonition on the key?
Yes, you can do that. So if you do resolve an aspect.
Ooh, wow. That's 2 critical successes
Nice.
and 2 other successes.
Okay. So what are you looking for specifically? Like, are you trying to find where it goes, like what it unlocks, or where it came from, or where did it last?
Yeah, what it's attached to, would it open where that thing could potentially be. So tired of being on the back foot.
That's fair. Okay, so it does unlock a diary.
Yeah.
You see it looks like it's basically almost looks like it's that cover's made of the same kind of wood that the box is made.
Okay, cool.
It just has diary carved into the top of it. And it's got a purple bookmark sticking at the bottom.
Yeah.
And it's got sort of the padlock at the side. So it's like it clips from the front and then you pull it off. And are you trying to see if you can see where it is?
Yeah.
So you get an image of a room. It's like a study. It almost looks like something from like a Victorian style room. So it's like kind of dark and gloomy, but it's like a big oak table, like writing desk. It's got like a quill. It's got all this sort of implements on it.
Mm-hmm.
And although it looks like a sort of old room, you can see that there's like a tablet on the table, so it's kind of like still sort of modern times.
Yeah.
There's a newspaper next to it that has the date. It was a few days ago.
Mm-hmm.
So you know that the key was in the diary a few days ago. And next to it, there's what looks to be like a drawing of the box that the phone came in. You can hear people speaking outside of the room. It sounds a bit muffled, but you can tell that they're in an argument. You kind of get the odd muffled thing of like, you have to be careful, and then another voice going, I know what I'm doing. And it almost sounds like a parent with like a petulant teenager.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh my god, I know what I'm doing, shut up. Like that kind of thing. And someone going, no, if you don't do this, like if you don't stop now, something bad's gonna happen. Like it's almost sounds like that kind of argument. None of the voices necessarily sound familiar.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that it's not the person that you already know.
Can I grab onto those voices and try to push my vision towards those voices?
You get closer, but it's almost like you can't really leave the room.
Okay.
So you get sort of like to the door. The voices come a little bit clearer. They're not ones that you recognize. And again, it's almost like it's an argument that they've had time and time again. So they keep sort of interrupting each other. Like, I know you said that last time and it still worked. And it's like, you're ruining these people's lives. And this other voice is just like, I'm not, it's just a game. And then it's almost like they're sort of fading down a corridor.
Mm-hmm.
And you hear them going, it's not a game, people are dying. And then like the response is really muffled.
Can I see if I can find some clue about where this room is, like an address or like an envelope on a desk, or like push the vision around? So
you can almost sort of like investigate the room. You can't really touch anything.
Yeah.
It's almost like you're like a sort of like ghost in this room, so you can wander about, but you can't leave the room. You can't touch anything. So there's nothing really with like envelopes on it. There's a sort of plaque on the desk.
Mm-hmm.
You like a kind of like name plaque thing. That has the initials ABT, and then it goes like author outside.
Did you say author?
Author, yeah.
Author AU or Arthur, like the name?
No, like author as in like a novelist.
Okay. Is there a window?
There is a window.
I see it.
It's sort of covered by a curtain, but you can sort of peek out.
Yeah.
Freely. And you, like, peeking out, you feel like you should know where this street is.
Mm-hmm.
But for some reason, it's almost like it's niggling at the back of your head, but you can't quite place where you know it from. Like, you're like, it could be from real life, or it could be from like a film that you've seen, or something like that. It's like you know it, but you can't tell how you know it. You've got a feeling that if you stopped thinking about it, it might come to you.
Okay.
Like that way where you're like in mid conversation with someone like 2 days later, and you're like,
Yeah.
that's what the person's name is.
Yeah.
Like that kind of thing.
Is there anything else distinct about the room?
Just that you get the feeling that a lot of this is for show. So although like the desk is beautiful and it's an antique and it's beautifully made, it's almost like it's there to play a part.
Mm-hmm.
It's like at the side there's a typewriter that looks like it's never used, or if it is, there's no, like there's a stack of paper next to it that's almost like got a bit of dust on it.
Yeah.
And things like that. So it's almost like a lot of the place, like you can tell as well with the books that are around the room, there's a lot of the kind of books that people say you should read, but nobody ever really reads.
Yeah.
So things like War and Peace and like, the Iliad and the Odyssey and, like these kind of books that someone who's a bit pretentious would go, oh yes, look at my collection of books that I've never actually touched since I bought them.
Yeah.
Because there's like a layer of dust, like a really fine layer of dust on things.
Yeah.
Except for like the desk where obviously it's kind of used, but off to the side and stuff, there's like say like the typewriter and things like that.
Yeah. Is it daytime?
It is daytime.
I'm gonna look at it day again.
Yeah, you're out in the daytime. I mean, you're a ghosty type
Yeah.
thing at the moment. You're just
She'll probably be in this trance until Reinhardt gets back in the
yeah.
car.
Especially with music playing.
Yeah.
Do you look through the rest of the phone at any point, or was it just the pictures that you were?
Oh, she would have been looking through I imagine Lou probably has it at a certain point.
Yeah, Lou would
So if
definitely.
she doesn't, then Lou would probably scour it.
Lou would definitely check through the phone and see like any other contacts that might be on there. Oh, did we lose
Nope.
Chris?
Must have lost Chris. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, you're a bit off center at the moment, Fee, but hopefully he'll come back
That's
and that will fix that.
It's okay.
Yeah, no, he'll check through like any other contacts that might be on the phone, any messages from other contacts on the phone. Yeah, pretty much everything and anything. Also, before I forget, shout out to the Natural Ones UK who raided us a fair while back, but I didn't want to drop the scene.
Oh, nice one.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Hey. Cool.
There he is. But yeah, Lou will go through the phone and check pretty much everything and anything he can on it.
What were you saying, Sarah?
I just a really quick question about the voices, if they're male, female, and undistinguishable. That couldn't tell.
One of them you couldn't properly tell, and one of them their voice changed in pitch a lot. So it could be that they were potentially going through puberty, or they were just one of those really expressive voices. The other ones sounded a bit older, a little bit kind of gruff. Again, it was hard to tell whether it was a sort of woman with a kind of lower pitched voice, or a man.
So the one that's saying it's just a game is the younger sounding
The
voice?
younger, yeah,
Okay.
the younger sounding voice. Lou, as you are going through the phone, again, you see the pictures that Tabitha saw, and it almost looks like pictures she would have taken of something that she found kind of funky, or, you know, that she maybe wanted to either go and buy or steal later. Also, the music that was saved on the phone, a lot of it is almost music that Tabitha likes. There is no other contacts saved on the phone. There's no other messages saved on the phone, apart from the ones that they've had between each other.
Right. I'm gonna go into the phone, and Lou is gonna call his own phone from this phone.
Okay. Are you just doing it to check
Just-
the phone?
Just doing it to see what number comes up or anything else.
The number that comes up is the one that the phone belongs to.
No, that's fine. Yeah. So Lou's making a note, and he's saving that down on his own phone contacts as saving it down as fuck off mystery phone.
Eloquent, like it.
Yeah. And then just kind of like sitting, literally just sitting back and just going, oh, no.
Yeah, and at that moment, Reinhardt comes back with the Uber, without Esme. And I'm assuming you guys are heading back to the city.
Imagine so.
When we're driving, I'll mention that Esme said that she had to go and speak to a man in a box,
Oh, okay. That's
whatever that means.
Whatever that means.
Yes. Also, rather than going to your friends, how would you like to go and stay with me? It'll be a relatively tight fit, but I can do a ritual that means if somebody interrupts our sleep, I can wake up as if it was the middle of the night.
It's up to you, Tabby. What would you feel safer with?
What?
Would you feel safer going to Mina's or going to Reinhardt's? Reinhardt can do a spell so that he wakes up if anyone breaks in.
That sounds good.
Yeah?
I imagine staying in different places would also
That's true.
work well if we're not in the same place every night.
Why don't you go and stay with Reinhardt then, and you have the safety of the magic, and I'll go and stay with Mina.
Okay.
You can text me all night, all day if you want.
Okay. I think the person, the key, I saw the room that it was in.
Oh?
It was weird because it was like dressed up like a Victorian style room, almost for show. And there's voices and they sounded young. Quite young.
And if they're kindred, voices don't typically age.
No, and it was daytime.
Oh.
I wonder if he's a ghoul.
Maybe. Maybe it could be.
There's a plaque on the desk that said ABT as author.
ABT.
Um,
An author named ABT.
The street it was on looked familiar. I don't know. The voice, one of them said that it was for work and that it was just a game. People were dying.
Hmm. I mean,
So ignorant.
I guess a few people have died since we started dealing with all this stuff.
Felt very phony, the space.
Yeah.
Radiant voice. Wow, what time is it at this point?
It's when you're getting back to the city, you're going to be pushing it.
Okay, it'll go back. Okay. We'll go with Reinhardt then.
Yeah. Reinhardt.
Yep.
This ritual that they're doing to bring someone forward through time, that works in reverse as well, wouldn't it?
In theory, yes, but this is a bit crazy. Like,
No.
this isn't normal stuff to be doing.
No, I get that. I just had a really dumb idea before that song. And yeah, I don't know. My brain is fried, and a lot's been going on. But I had this random thought in my head that maybe we were behind the whole thing. We had to come back in time, and we're doing something. Whoever is doing this knows us pretty well.
It's true.
They seem to have access to a lot of things that we would potentially be good at, especially given more time. Someone had to know David intimately to create the Spectre, and I knew him pretty fucking intimately. So, yeah, there was a lot of stuff that kind of Venn diagrammed well with that theory, and as dumb as it sounds, I don't know, it's nagging at me.
It is a possibility that we could have done it and we're then doing it now to bring something forward.
Yeah. I don't know. They just seem to know us so well.
I wouldn't even know how we could go around investigating that.
I don't either. I genuinely don't.
Maybe tomorrow we should try and bring all the leads together, understand what information we've got. Maybe there's some thread we can tug at to see if we can unravel it.
Yes, that's probably a good call. The only thing I could think to do that might... but it would be so dumb. We do have a direct line to them now. We could just straight up ask them. I don't know. They seem to be enjoying screwing with us. Which is very me, to be honest. let's let's regroup tomorrow. Hopefully Cal will be around. I don't know what the hell happened to him tonight. And maybe he can work some of his magic with the phone.
Maybe.
Yeah, you might be able to. Maybe. Can you trace the? I assume you can trace these things.
I mean, I feel like we have a good idea where it's probably coming from.
Well, pray.
Yeah. Also, their pension for whoever this person is, their decision to use a nightclub as their base of operations.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're feeding, if you needed a large amount of people, like they do for this ritual, it's probably in these days your best option to do it.
That's fair.
It's also the fact they're somehow keeping these people alive after they removed the souls doesn't make sense. You shouldn't be able to do that.
Yeah. That's pretty wild.
There's too many. There's too much going on. There's too many. You shouldn't be able to do this, or that's not how usually that works. There's an ancient vampire chilling out in a nightclub, potentially trying to pull Jack the Ripper forward in time.
Yeah.
And people don't know who that is or why they're doing it.
Well, I'm still waiting to hear for my clan to get in contact with me. They're coming here, and one of them was around. At least one of them was around during that time, and see if I can get any information out of them. I know that people. I don't know. I feel sick.
I don't know. Kind of a bit exciting. There's so much to find out, but I just don't know where to start. I can ask around, but me asking for information comes with a price.
Yeah.
For me, anyway. Not for you, but for me.
Well,
usually it's favors, which is never good.
Well, we can exhaust our other sources first before we turn to that, because I don't think I'd have to do anything in particular for the Toreador to help us, so at least not my sire. We didn't leave things on the best of terms, but we did have a good relationship for a while.
You can ask a question.
Yep.
Looking back through my old notes,
Mm-hmm.
I have Ben Gardner was the one that was killed by Duke.
Yep.
I've got Moses Gardner. Is that the one that had that bedroom that was like conspiracy theory, or was that Pete?
That was Pete.
Pete was the
Moses was the guy that was killed in the warehouse.
So Moses was killed. Wait, so it was Moses and Ben was originally killed before we never saw him.
Yeah, you never met Ben.
Okay,
Ben was killed like a year before Moses.
Right. I had gaps in my notes. I originally did kill him a year ago.
Yeah, so basically a year before the Halloween thing, approximately a year, Duke killed Ben, and then it was Ben's brother Moses that was killed at the warehouse.
Was Moses' house the one that looked like a conspiracy theory home? Because we went to it.
No, that was Pete.
That was Pete's?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
Just had a thought.
Pete Gardner's been beneath our feet this whole time.
Is that him?
I mean, do you think he was buried in that field?
Maybe.
Pete?
Do we have a downstairs neighbor at our apartment?
I mean, you are on the penthouse suite, so presumably you have someone downstairs. I don't know if you would ever have actually cared enough to
No, we would have
find out.
checked. Unless Pete lives in our building.
If Tabitha hasn't looked into who's all in the building just because she needs to know who's who, Cal definitely would have.
That's true.
Yes, Cal would probably be able to give you. I feel like Cal would investigate things in a different way from Tabitha.
Yes.
Because Cal is very much, I need to know exactly who's there and find out their weaknesses so I can exploit them at a later date.
Yeah.
Whereas I think Tabitha is more, ooh, who lives here? So yes, if Tabitha doesn't know for definite, Cal will definitely know.
Yeah. I think you can't really say Tabitha would only do it like, ooh, who's here? I think there's a range.
Yeah.
There's
yeah.
no consistency to her brain.
Yeah. So it might be that one neighbor she knows every single thing about them, like including their favorite cereal.
Yeah.
And the other one, she's like, who are you?
Yeah.
Oh wait, are you the one that's got the orange curtains in your kitchen?
Like there's this
that.
crazy old lady that lives on the second floor who is up all night long, and Tabitha sometimes goes and and hangs out with her for a bit.
Yeah. Like there would be some people you would know like intimately, and then there would be other people where you would probably only know them by smell.
Yeah.
There would be some that you would be like, oh, are you the one that set the kitchen on fire at like 3 o'clock in the morning by making like brownies and then you fell asleep? Because that's what the little old lady down in floor 2 told me, like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But no, Cal would know everyone, name, social security numbers, and everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, he would be able to definitely, definitively tell you who is in the building. So at this point, you are almost back to the city. It is getting incredibly late. So is Lou going to?
Lou's going to mean us.
Yeah, and Tabitha's going with Reinhardt.
Yeah.
Cool. So I will let you solve the logistics of that amongst yourselves. Because I've realised it's now 11:45.
Yeah.
And there's only so much we can do tonight before we need Cal. So yeah, we will all wrap it up with you all going your separate ways. Lou, you just let yourself into Fina's place.
Yeah.
She knows you're coming. What does Reinhardt and Tabitha do? Because obviously I don't think Tabitha's ever been to Reinhardt's place before.
Yep. So let her into the main building. We'll walk through.
She's got her headphones on. She hasn't taken them off.
Okay. Seeing she's got headphones in, I won't bother talking to her about all the stuff that's on the walls. Lead her into the room, point to where the bed is, and then I'm gonna move myself against the door and start making the ritual circle that I need to do to cast the morning's freshness, I think it's called.
Tabitha's looking at everything that's in the room.
Yeah, that makes sense.
There's like
wake with evening's freshness. I'll just start casting. Just start working on that. And if Tabitha wants to ask me anything about in the room, then she can.
I think she's too overwhelmed at this point to carry on any more conversations. She's tired. So maybe in the morning or in
a mentally exhausting day for you all. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't take long for you to do the ritual. You've done it, whatever, basically at this stage. So yeah, fairly quick and easy. and yeah, anything that Reinhardt does before he calls it a night.
Probably just make sure, definitely check the doors securely locked, and then just kind of lean back against the door and start to nod off.
Perhaps
Good
I
thing
would have turned off the phone on the way.
Yep.
There's no signal.
That's the good thing about being undead. Don't need to worry about waking up with a sore neck.
That's fair. Yeah. So yeah, you guys. I'm assuming Tabitha, you just still headphones in, or
Yeah,
and just lie there until you fall asleep.
yeah. The
Okay.
music very loud.
You get to sleep, no problems. You don't actually have any visions or anything throughout the night. Nothing seems to happen. And that is where we will call it for tonight.
All right.
Now 10 to 11.
Yeah. Good God.
Yeah.
For everyone watching, thank you for joining us on this wonderful stream. We will be back again on Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Wednesday, with the start of Mothership Month. Which I've just realised. Are you going to be in that one, Sarah?
I will be probably broadcasting it. But
Yep,
I'm
that's
not
what
sure. I will. I'm not sure I'll be able to actually participate because it's just me tonight with the kids. So
No, that's fair, because I was thinking like, yeah, we're the only two that actually have like the broadcasting stuff.
yeah.
Yeah,
So I will be
it's like,
broadcasting it.
I was
But
like, we've got a game on Wednesday.
Yeah, no, I'm in. Yeah, I've got Kids and Brooms on Wednesday, so I can't do
yeah.
that.
All good.
I have a game every single night this week. A lot of fun. Anyways,
Yeah.
we will be back on Wednesday with the start of Mothership Month, where Fergus will be taking us, taking a group of people through the character creation process of the Mothership system, which is a horror sci-fi system and looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. So make sure to come along and check that out. But otherwise, we will be back again in 2 weeks with the next episode of Twilight, Vampire the Masquerade. So until then, have a wonderful evening.
Night.
Bye.